Hey guys, what's up? It's Drew here, and today we're going to be taking a look at different ability cooldowns with different stacks of ability cooldown mods and how they affect the ability cooldowns themselves. We'll be taking a look at the cooldown of grenades, melees, supers, as well as each of the class abilities, the dodge, rift, and barricade. If I happen to miss a cooldown that's for some reason different than the normal values that I found, be sure to put it in the comments below and let me know. I'd really like to start focusing and making some great loadout videos. I have a lot of ideas. But first, we have to know all of our numbers to make the most educated decisions on what ability cooldown mods to use and what mobility, resilience, and recovery to run with it as well, but that'll be in a later video. So starting with our grenade cooldowns, with no mods present, the cooldown for a grenade was 1 minute and 21 seconds. With one mod, it reduced it to 1 minute 3 seconds, which is an 18-second reduction. With two mods, it was a 51-second cooldown, which is another 12-second reduction. With 3 mods stacked, it was a 43-second cooldown, which is an 8-second reduction. With 4 mods, I got about a 37-second cooldown, which is a 6-second reduction. And with 5 mods, finally, it was a 33-second cooldown, which again, from the last mod, was a 4-second reduction. The melee ability followed the same suit. It had just about the same cooldown time, being 121 with no mods, 103 with 1 mod, 51 seconds with 2 mods, 43 seconds with 3 mods, and 37 seconds with 4 mods. Finally, with 5 mods, was a 33-second cooldown. However, the hunter melee abilities actually have a longer cooldown than other classes. I believe this is the only melee that follows this rule of this longer cooldown. When I tried the Stormcaller melee, which previously was longer, it was not longer for me when I tested it, but I didn't get to try the new Stormcaller's melee ability, which might be longer like the Hunter melee ability. The new Titan Hammer Throw also wasn't longer, despite being a projectile melee. It was a little upsetting that the Arc Shredder melee abilities, despite some of them not being projectile based, were still a longer cooldown. Without any mods, the cooldown was 1 minute and 35 seconds, and with one mod it was reduced to 1 minute 14 seconds, which was a 21-second reduction. With 2 mods, it was a 1-second cooldown time, which is a 14-second reduction from having 1 mod. With 3 mods, it was a 50-second cooldown time with a 10-second reduction. 4 mods was a 44-second cooldown time as a 6-second reduction, and 5 mods was a 38-second cooldown time with another 6-second reduction. As much as the Hunter melee is a longer cooldown, it seems to get a bit more benefit than the standard cooldown time of grenades and other classes' melees from each mod, even though it is just by a few seconds. As far as super cooldown goes, with no mods, you'll have a 5-minute cooldown time. With 1 mod, you'll have a 4 minute 37-second cooldown time, which is a 23-second reduction. With 4 mods, you can get a 4 minute 18-second cooldown, which is a 19-second reduction. With 3 mods, you'll get a 4 minute 2-second cooldown, which is a 16-second reduction. With 4 mods, you'll get a 3 minute 47-second cooldown, which again is a 15-second reduction. And finally, with 5 mods, you'll get a 3 minute 34-second super cooldown, which is a 13-second reduction, and totals just about a minute and a half shaved off of your 5-minute regular cooldown. Moving on to our class abilities, we'll start with the Hunter Dodge. Without any mods, it has a cooldown time of 24 seconds. With 1 mod, it goes to 19 seconds, which is a 5-second reduction. 2 mods, it gives you a 15-second cooldown, which is a 4-second reduction. 3 mods will give you a 13-second cooldown for a 2-second reduction. 4 mods will give you an 11-second cooldown, which is also a 2-second reduction, but 5 mods will give you a 10-second cooldown with only a 1-second reduction from having 4 mods. For the Warlock Rift, without any mods, you'll have a cooldown of about 1 minute and 24 seconds. With 1 mod, you'll get a cooldown of 1 minute 3 seconds for a 21-second reduction. With 2 mods, a 50-second cooldown for a 13-second reduction. 3 mods will grant you a 43-second cooldown for a 7-second reduction. 4 mods will be 37 seconds for a 6-second reduction. And 5 mods will give you a 32-second cooldown for a 5-second reduction. Finally, we have the Titan's Barricade. Without any mods, we'll have a 36-second cooldown, and 1 mod will bring that down to 28 seconds, reducing the cooldown time by 8 seconds. 2 mods will bring it down to 22 seconds for an additional 6-second reduction. 3 mods will give a 19-second cooldown with only a 3-second further reduction. 4 mods will give a 16-second cooldown with again only a 3-second further reduction. And 5 mods will give you a 14-second cooldown for the Barricade with only an additional 2-second reduction. All of these cooldowns were numbers I had timed. If they are a second or so off, my apologies. I think you still get the idea for how long each cooldown is, and the effectiveness of each cooldown mod, which is the important thing to be taking away here. Here are some observations I made about these cooldown mods and how effective they are though. The first two mods, Stack 1 and 2, provide the greatest cooldown in each case with any of these abilities. For example, with grenade and regular melee cooldowns, stacks 3, 4, and 5 mods provide a total combined 18-second time reduction, while only using one mod by itself already provides an 18-second reduction from your cooldown time, and 2 mods provides a combined 30-second reduction in your cooldown time. So it looks to me that there are diminishing returns after stacking 2 ability cooldown mods. That being said, super mods provide a pretty similar benefit from each mod applied in each stack of mods, and even though it is still diminishing, it's not nearly as diminishing as the result in other ability cooldowns. As much as the first 2 cooldown mods provide the most benefit, I think that 3 mods can somewhat have a case and be justified simply because this is going to get you as close to the 2 times faster cooldown than the original vanilla cooldown. Even though it's slightly technically just short of that, it gets you to that sweet spot that, look, my cooldown is now twice as fast as if I wasn't using any mods. At any point after using 3 stacks of mods, it will give you a cooldown that is more than twice as fast as the original cooldown without any mods. But the returns are quite diminishing after this point, and even at the 3 mod point, at least in comparison to what the first 2 mods reduce your cooldown by. 5 mods though is still the fastest, at just about 2.5 times give or take, changes a little bit for each ability, but roughly 2.5 times faster cooldown speed than the original cooldown without any mods. But of course, this requires you to use all of your resources. You'll be committing every one of your mod slots, which are used for all of your abilities, and your resilience, mobility, and recovery towards a single thing. So that's a risk that you'll have to decide if you want to take, and if that's something that you value based on the build you're trying to create. Personally, I don't ever see 4 mods being worth it in any case, as it only provides a very small benefit over using 3 mods. And 3 mods is the sweet spot that kind of gets you to that point where, again, for all abilities other than your super ability, you're going to have just under double the speed of the original cooldown without any mods. To me, it's simply, you want the most bang for your buck, use 1 or maybe 2 cooldown mods. You want to make sure you have pretty much twice as fast cooldown, well, throw another one on, go for 3. And if you want to make sure you have this ability all the time, then just go all in and go for 5. To me, the mod system looks as though it was designed to allow you to make the most out of your 5 slots, with great returns at 1 or 2 mods, giving you additional slots to reduce other ability cooldowns or spec more into mobility, resilience, and recovery. I found it interesting that the Warlock Rift actually shared a similar cooldown timer as the standard melee or grenade cooldown, and actually enough cooldown mods with a Titan barricade will allow you to have a new barricade before your old one actually expires. The last thing I noticed about the class abilities was anything past 2 cooldown mods for the Hunter Dodge seems rather useless or pointless, as there's very small returns given the resources that you're sacrificing. So that's just about everything I have to say about the cooldown mods and how effective they each are. Before we start talking about some really cool builds and ideas I have, or maybe you guys have that you'd like to suggest, we'll be doing a breakdown of resilience, mobility, and recovery next. I hope you guys found the video enjoyable and helpful, and hopefully this will help you make some cool builds of your own. As always, it's been Drew here today, and I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for watching.